out of the ordinary insights. Brought to you by Investec Specialist Bank.
Welcome back to Captains of Industry. On parade with me this week is the Executive Chairman of Grand Parade Investments. It's Hassen Adams. Hassen, just before the break we were talking about your Grand Parade Investments beginnings, and you said Sun International came to you and you said, I'm not just going to be your empowerment partner, the whole community must be your empowerment partners. What happened then?
Well, you know, I mean, we didn't know of the word broad-based black empowerment, but I went abroad and I looked at how they develop communities, and I really wanted to develop the community that I came from, which was District 6. And we were standing on the 23rd floor of then Safmarine House. It's now called Triangle House. And as we were talking about it, I said, that's where we're going to focus on, the Grand Parade. They say, why? They said to me, why? And I said, because that was a place of convergence for all of our communities. We used to go to the Grand Parade to sing, to trade, to preach, to do all of our political speeches there. And it's just a place that is so sacrosanct to our community. It's even the place when Mandela came out of prison, he went to go and do his first speech at the City Hall. And I said, the City Hall, wow, that's our new logo.
And you could see the City Hall from Safmarine House?
Yeah, that's the only building that you can see. And I must just tell you, right now, taking you a couple of years to where we are now, we bought a building in Adelaide Street, and it's the first time in the history since Jan van Riebeeck came to Cape Town that our community owns a building in Adelaide Street.
It's 11 stories, isn't it?
11
and
stories.
Underneath is Burger King, which we'll come to later. Yeah.
And what I'm trying to tell you is that from the top floor, where all the floors where we are, you look right into the City Hall. So that's our logo. So there must have been something spiritual about this whole acquisition of the building and the development of GPI. And then we went on this journey to every single community in Cape Town and got them on board for as little as 700 Rand. You know, they collected monies from families. They put their...
What did you tell them, though, when you went round for the 700 Rand? Because you raised 28 million, didn't you?
Yeah, well, a bit more than that, because the cost was also involved in it. Difficult to tell people who's never had an opportunity to invest in a corporate environment. They don't know what a share is. They don't know what a dividend is. So we had to tell them that this is change.
They were investing in you because you're a natural salesman, and they're investing in the story rather than the theory of the stock market or dividend, surely.
The corporate environment didn't interest them. They loved the fact that, you know, there was a guy called Peter Swartz, who was also a very strong community leader, and myself, who sang the song. There were two other guys, but they were playing a minor role. And quite frankly, I think that they invested in us as people, because they believed in our background, where we came from, and our strength, you know, from what we've achieved up to that date. And we went to Langa, Gugulet, to Kensington, Wynberg, you know, every civic center we went, people came on board. So as far as Pinel and Stellenbosch and all of those places, all the rural areas, they all came on board. I must tell you, some of them couldn't afford to put in 700 Rand. We helped them along. Some of the groups that we put together didn't have any money. We helped them along. We found money for them. And today, you know, I am so proud because, you know, at that time it must have been 20,000 people. Some of them have sold down. It's now about 15,000 people. It's still significant. And I'm saying it's still significant because if you look at our shareholders list, more than 80% of them is still certified shareholders and not dematerialized shareholders. They refuse to go and trade on the stock market. If you come to my AGM, and I've been there for I don't know how many years, I look like Ray McCauley on the stage there because they believe in us. They pray for us, you know, and we have sent their kids to Model C schools, to universities. I mean, through Grand West, we've now got over 450 bursaries. We help feed 360,000 children at school every day. We've got 20 Pentechnicons on the road, of which 10 is for mobile kitchens during these flood periods. The Red Cross runs that for us.
So you're philanthropic as well, and you also pay dividends, which is a key point. Tell us about give me just an example. If you'd had invested on the day when you went to Guguletu and got 700 Rand from a family that couldn't really afford the 700 Rand but believed in you, what would that 700 Rand be worth today?
Well, I can tell you that we paid back their 28 million probably about 30 times over. And today the 28 million is probably, look at our market cap, it's just over 2 billion, right? And we have paid out significant dividends to them, and so you know what, from a growth point of view, it's been unbelievable. We have created, if you look at those teachers that put in like 35 or 40 or 50,000 Rand, if you had put in 35,000 Rand at the beginning into this company, you would be a millionaire. And if you add up all of those numbers, we've created over 700 millionaires in GPI. Now, you know what? I just feel good about the fact that you could share, you know, such an opportunity with so many people. And
so it's a community-based company, essentially.
Absolutely.
What is it, though? What about the operations? Well, what is Grand Parade Investments these days?
Yeah, Grand Parade has become quite a big company. It's got 11 floors of operations. Burger King is at the bottom. We've created training floors, and we put in a Burger King Academy, because Burger King is not about creating jobs only, it's about creating careers. And then our slots company has doubled up. You know, we now got licensed for 6,000 slots. We'll grow to 7.5 by the end of this year. And hopefully in the next 2 years we'll have 10,000 slots. Now that takes a lot of bodies. And then we've got other investments like the property side and so on. We grow that very slowly. We don't believe in property funds, just go and borrow money. We actually use our own money to buy our own property. We've got properties in Cape Town and in Johannesburg, and it's going very well. Other than that, we were going to bid for Peermont. We saw the caution, we pulled out of that because we felt that it was getting too rich for us, you know, and we're a very conservative group, and and of course, you know, I've got the responsibility of thousands of people on my back, and I didn't want to take that risk in taking a giant leap without, you know, a lifeline next to it. So anyway, that's another story.
Have any of your shareholders got any problem, or do you sometimes think to yourself that maybe the gambling aspect, you have a slight moral issue with gambling, given that a lot of people that are gambling and therefore making you and your shareholders money can't really afford to gamble? Do you ever wrestle with that problem?
Yes, I do. I do. You know, I come from a Muslim background.
Yes.
So, you know what, Muslim casino boss sounds very strange, but I'm very proud of the fact that I can put many thousands of plates of food on people's tables. I can create thousands of careers, which I'm proud of. I've taken people out of nowhere to somewhere, you know. It's a way out of nowhere, GPI. Now, you've got to understand one thing. One of our shareholders are people not only in the community, they are large institutions too. Banks and very, very high-profile funds and people. And somebody said to me the other day, you know, one of the big guys, and I'm not going to mention his name, he said, they came to me and they said, I believe you're now a shareholder in GPI, I'm gambling. I don't know, isn't that a bit funny? And he said to them, come with me, I'll take you to my deal room in the bank. Now you tell me, what is this about? This is serious gambling. I mean, I have a good argument with a favorite minister of mine about casinos, and I said, you know, where is the biggest casino in this country? Biggest casino is Johannesburg Stock Exchange, yeah, where white-collar men gamble with blue-collar money.
Yeah.
You know, and you saw the strikes and all of that sort of stuff. What we've done is we've created a gambling environment that's owned by the people and used by the people. So when you go to Grand West, they call it Granny. And Granny belongs to them. All of those leather seats and all of those thick carpets belong to them. And that's the secret of our success. They've created an environment and they've created our brand loyalty, which means that, yeah, they put money in there and we give money back. And their families and their extended next generations will benefit from it. So people argue about gambling, you know, and I can defend myself as a person that's involved with gambling by saying to you that I don't gamble at casinos. And the reason for that is that I have a responsibility towards my shareholders and the people who goes and gamble at those places.
I don't gamble at casinos either because everything's stacked in favour of the house and I'm a useless gambler. I'm an irresponsible gambler. I'm also a vegetarian, but I look at the Burger King.
Look, Lindsay, let me just stop you there. Can I just say to you that, you know, in life, everything is a gamble. You know, the fact that you're a vegetarian mustn't make you believe that you are that healthy, okay? And the fact that I can eat a bit of burgers makes you jealous, probably. But let me just say,
I get jealous of those queues outside Burger King, I must say, every single day, because I said when you opened that place, I thought, why is this Burger King here? It should be 400-500 metres up Adderley Street, and yet you've proved everybody wrong.
Can I tell you, when I said I wanted to put a Burger King where I saw an opportunity which I saw in London. My first burger that I had from Burger King was at Leicester Square. I love the place. I love the theatre around it. I love the people that goes there. And I said, this is what I'm going to create. And when we built Burger King there, everybody laughed at me. The place is dead there. You know, it's decadent. And I said, leave it to me. We will change the whole environment. We've not taken over the whole square. Christmas, you will see lights. We're going to create new tables on that square, what I call Ubuntu tables, where families can sit and eat and have burgers. And so we'll try and liven up that side of the city, which is the main corridor. The main axis of our public transport flows right into where we are. So, I mean, what is so difficult to understand it? I didn't have to be a rocket scientist to think that out, you know. It was staring us all in the face.
You thought laterally. We're going to have to wind this up now, Hassen. What is the future of Grand Parade Investments? You're going to take Burger King to the rest of Africa, that's one thing. Elsewhere, you said you were going to bid for Piedmont. You're not going to because it's too rich. What else are you going to do? Okay,
Burger King is huge in our lives. It will be, in the next year or 2 or 3 years, a 3 to 4 billion rand business. We can see it coming. I mean, in just opening 3 stores here, and you must know the first store was open for a month and a half before the second one came on board at Cavendish, and now we've opened the third one. In that short space, we've done 20 million rand in revenue. Now that's phenomenal.
It's a lot of burgers.
And it's a lot of burgers, you know, and the nice thing is, I couldn't understand why people queue up for this burger, so I went to Germany to go and see how it gets manufactured. And there's a real science to it. It's a pure beef patty, no pepper, no salt, and it's done technically correct with managing the meat that comes in and making quite sure that the product that goes out there is untouched by hand.
We've got 1 minute left, unfortunately, so we won't get into more of the science of burgers, but how do you spend your time? You've got horses. So you've got a gambling streak in you now, because if you make a lot of money at Grand Parade, you pour money down the drain with horse racing.
I love my horses. I've won the Met as the first black person to win the Met in 150 years. I won the Queen's Plate as the first black person to win the Queen's Plate in 180 years. And I love my horses. I have a farm in Hemel and Aarde where I breed, and I just got back from it yesterday afternoon with the most magnificent foals on the ground. They all give me the green lights. And if I can say something, if you want to have a horse buyer, give me the green light in the future, you know, because I think they're going to rock and roll in this country.
Son, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much for your time. That's Hassen Adams, who's the Executive Chairman of Grand Parade Investments, and that was Captains of Industry.